Edge God out. The joke the ego never got. They say ego stands for edge God out. But have you ever stopped to think what that means? Because how can something that doesn't exist edge out what is infinite? How can the unreal outlast the real? How can a shadow block the sun that gives it life? The ego's whole game is built on the illusion of edges. Boundaries, walls, bodies, and names. It lives by contrast, comparison, and division. But God has no edges, no inside or outside, no border between what is me and what is you. So when the mind believes it can edge God out, it's really believing it can draw a line through eternity and call one side mine. That line never existed. It's a chalk mark on air. A Course in Miracles says, the ego's plan for salvation centers on holding grievances. That means its only way to keep existing is to stay offended, to stay separate. It keeps sketching edges around what has none. Edge God out is the ego's motto, and it's madness. It's what happens the moment the mind says, I know better. That tiny thought, I know better than love, was the start of the whole dream. That was the so-called fall. Not from heaven to earth, but from oneness to two. From stillness to motion. From wholeness to the divided mind that asks, what about me? But here's the joke the ego never got. You can't edge out what has no edge. You can't exile God from the mind because God is the mind that dreams of exile. So the moment you try to push God away, you're only pushing against yourself. And that's why the Course calls the ego a tiny mad idea at which the Son of God remembered not to laugh. The madness isn't that the ego tried to edge God out. It's that the Son of God took the joke seriously. The moment it was believed, guilt appeared. Fear followed guilt. And time was born to hide both. Now the mind wanders through lifetimes trying to fill the hole it made by pretending to leave heaven. It builds religions, relationships, and reputations, each one another edge. Each one another attempt to redraw the infinite into manageable shapes. But truth doesn't live inside the line. Truth is the space that holds it all. Try to edge that out and you'll only tire yourself. Because what you're really fighting is peace itself. The ego says, edge God out and you'll finally be free. But freedom without God is just another prison cell with better wallpaper. The walls still close in because the self that built them isn't real. The Course teaches that the Holy Spirit's gentle correction is this: you can't edge God out, but you can edge the ego out. Not by fighting it, not by judging it, but by seeing it for what it is, nothing. Illusion fades when it's looked at with love. So maybe the real flip of the phrase is this: edge yourself out. Edge out the false self. Let the illusion of me dissolve at the borders. Let the lines blur until there's only light. Until there's nothing left to defend and nothing left to attack. Then ego turns inside out. It no longer means edge God out. It becomes embrace God only. That's the true medicine of the mind. You can't edge out the unedgeable. You can only stop pretending you did. And when that pretending ends, all that's left is everything. Love didn't go anywhere. It just waited beyond the edges you drew. Waiting for the moment you drop the chalk and laugh. Because God has no borders, only being. And what has no edge can never be edged out. Portrait of a mind at war with its own imagination. A dreamer who thought he could edge out the infinite by drawing a line in the sand and naming it me. But in the geometry of God there are no lines, only light. No borders, no beyond. And so our traveler discovers that what he tried to push away was never outside him at all. It was the only thing that was real, the love that could not be edged, erased, or exiled. A man can spend a lifetime building walls against the wind, but sooner or later he learns that the wind is home. Tonight's lesson: you cannot edge God out of anything, because God has no edge to begin with. End transmission.